Events in history on July 12, 526. Saint Felix IV begins his reign as Catholic Pope. 927. King Aethelstan is the first Southern English king to gain control of much of the north of Britain, when various local kings accept his overlordship at Emont, Cumbria. 1109. Crusaders capture Syria's harbor city of Tripoli. 1191. English King Richard I the Lionheart and Crusaders defeat Saracens in Palestine. 1442. King Alfonso V of Aragon becomes King of Naples. 1537. Battle of Albanque. Diego de Almagro defeated by army led by Alonso de Alvarado on behalf of Francisco Pizarro. 1542. French troops under Martin van Rossum occupy Flanders. 1549. Kett's uprising occupies Norwich, England. 1561. Trinity Church, now St. Basil's Cathedral, is consecrated in Moscow, Russia, built to commemorate defeat of the Mongols at Battle of Kazan. 1580. Ostrog Bible, the first printed Bible in a Slavic language, is published. 1627. English invasion fleet under George Villiers lands on the Ile de Ré, forced to withdraw after 3 months of combat and losing 4,000 of 7,000 troops. 1630. New Amsterdam's governor buys Gull Island from Indians for cargo, renames it Oyster Island, later known as Ellis Island. 1679. Britain's King Charles II ratifies Habeas Corpus Act, allowing prisoners' right to be imprisoned to be examined by a court. 1690. Battle of Boyne and Ireland. Protestant King William III defeats English Catholic King James II. 1691. Antonio Pignatelli elected as Pope Innocentius XII. 1691. Battle of Afram Egram Island. William III beats James II. 1700. Gelderland accepts Gregorian calendar. Yesterday is June 30th, 1700. 1704. Stanislaw Leszczynski becomes king of part of Poland. 1705. Ottoman army officer Al-Hussein ibn Alal proclaims himself Bey of Tunis, founding the Husseinid dynasty. Dynasty rules till 1957. 1730. Lorenzo Corsini chosen as Pope Clemens XII. 1745. Warship Elizabeth joins Bonnie Prince Charlie's frigate Dutel. N.S. 1771. Hems Endeavour, captained by James Cook, with Joseph Banks aboard, returns from its first voyage to the Pacific after tears. 1774. Citizens of Carlisle, Pennsylvania, pass a symbolic Declaration of Independence. 1774. Cossack leader Emelian Pugachev's army occupies Kazan. 1776. Captain James Cook departs Plymouth, England, helming HMS Resolution, beginning his third and final trip to the Pacific. 1785. First manned flight by gas balloon in Netherlands. 1790. French Revolution. The civil constitution of the clergy is adopted, putting the Catholic Church in France under the control of the state. 1801. Second Battle of Algeciras. British fleet beats French and Spanish 6 days after losing the First Battle of Algeciras. 1804. Former United States Secretary of the Treasury Alexander Hamilton dies after being shot in a pistol duel the previous day by Vice President Aaron Burr. 1812. U.S. forces led by General Hull invade Canada. War of 1812. 1817. First flowers show held in Donnybrook, County Cork, Ireland. 1843. Mormon leader Joseph Smith says God allows polygamy. 1850. Dutch Second Chamber accepts establishment of provincial states. 1859. Paper bag manufacturing machine patents by William Goodale. Massachusetts. 1861. Wild Bill Hickok reputed to have shot and killed David McCandless. Possibly his first kill, Hickok later acquitted after found he acted in self-defense. 1862. Federal troops occupy Helena, Arkansas. 1862. U.S. Congress authorizes Medal of Honor. 1863. In New Zealand, British forces invade Waikato, home of the Maori King movement, beginning a new phase of the wars between Maori and colonial British. 1874. Ontario Agricultural College founded. 1878. Fever epidemic in New Orleans begin. It will kill 4,500. 1879. Agricultural and industrial tariffs are introduced in Germany. 1882. First ocean pier in U.S. completed, Washington, D.C. 1898. Jean-Baptiste Marchand hoists French flag in Fashoda, Sudan. 1900. 114 Fahrenheit 46 degrees Celsius, Basin. Wyoming state record. 1901. In Germany, a group of 100 for aristocrats present a declaration against dueling, though the tradition will go on. 1901. Striking Canadian salmon fishermen on the Pacific coast. Resentful of the non-union Japanese who continue to fish, maroon and imprison 47. 1902. Arthur Balfour succeeds Lord Salisbury, who retired as British Prime Minister on the 11th of July. 1905. The British and Japanese renew their alliance of January 1902 for 10 years and agree to provide mutual support if attacked by other power. 1906. Alfred Dreyfus found innocent in France. 1909. 16th Amendment was passed by Congress power to tax incomes. 1912. First foreign feature film exhibited in U.S. Queen Elizabeth in NYC. 1913. 150,000 Ulstermen gather and resolve to resist Irish Home Rule by force of arms, since the British Liberals have promised the Irish nationalists Home Rule. Civil war appears imminent. 1916. Third and fourth of four fatal Jersey Shore shark attacks occurs at Matawan Creek when epileptic Lester Stilwell 11 is dragged into a creek, and Watson Fisher 24, believing Stilwell had a seizure, is bitten while retrieving the body and subsequently bleeds to death. 1916. Joseph Dunn 14 is attacked by a shark, suffering non-fatal wounds in New Jersey. The final episode in a spate of shark attacks along the Jersey coast, where 4 people died over 12 days. 1917. The Bisbee deportation occurs as vigilantes kidnap and deport nearly 1,300 striking miners and others from Bisbee, Arizona. 1918. Japanese battleship explodes in Bay of Yokoyama, 500 killed. 1920. Lithuania and USS are signed peace treaty. Lithuania becomes independent republic. 1926. Woman Danglager draws against warlord Wu Peifu. 1933. Congress passed first minimum wage law 33 cents per hour. 1934. U.S. disciplinary barracks on Alcatraz Island abandoned. 1935. Belgium recognizes Soviet Union. 1937. 13 Tupolev at -25 non-stop flight Moscow to San Jacinto, California. 1940. Frederick McKinley Jones receives a patent for an air conditioning unit for trucks, helping to change long-haul carriage of food and blood. 1943. 8th day of Battle of Kursk. USSR, Operation Kutuzov Soviet counteroffensive begins. Battle of Kolumbangara, Second Battle of Gulf of Kula. National Committee Freie Deutschland forms. Pope Pius XII receives German Ambassador Baron von Weizsäcker. Soviet offensive at Orel. World War II Battle of Prokhorovka. Russians defeat German forces in one of the largest ever tank battles. 1944. Theresienstadt family camp disbands with 4,000 people gazed. U.S. government recognizes authority of French general Charles de Gaulle. 1948. First jets to fly across Atlantic 6 Raft de Havilland vampires. 1949. Dutch KLM constellation crashes near Bombay. 45 died. 1950. Hague Council of Annulment convicts German war criminals W. Lages, F. H. van de Funten and F. Fischer to death. 1951. Mob tries to keep black family from moving into all-white Cicero, Illinois. 1952. East German SED decides to form German Doctor Army. 1954. ANC President Albert Luthuli banned by South African Minister of Justice from attending public gatherings and confined to the magisterial district of Lower Tugela, Natal. President Eisenhower put forward a plan for an interstate highway system. 1955. Christian Democratic Party forms in Argentina. 1957. First president to fly in helicopter Dwight Eisenhower. U.S. Surgeon General Leroy Burney connects smoking with lung cancer. 1958. U.S. performs atmospheric nuclear test at Bikini Island. 1960. USSR Sputnik 5 launched with 2 dogs. 1962. First time to man crafts in space USSR. 1966. 10.51 26.70 centimeters of rainfall. Sandusky, Ohio State record. Start of 3-day rage riot in Chicago. Looting brings out National Guardsmen. U.S. Treasury announces it will buy mutilated silver coins at silver bullion price at Philadelphia and Denver mints. 1967. Greek regime deprives 480 Greeks of their citizenship. Rage riot in Newark, New Jersey. 26 killed. 1,500 injured and over 1,000 arrested. 1968. Coup de Merville forms government in France. USSR performs nuclear test at Eastern Kazakh Semipalatinsk USSR. 1969. As the marching season reaches its height, there is serious rioting in Derry, Belfast and Dungiven. Many families in Belfast are forced to move from their homes. 1970. Tanzania signs contract with China for building Tanzam Railway. Thor Heyerdahl crosses the Atlantic Ocean on the raft Ra-2. Arrives in Barbados from Morocco after 57 days. 1971. Juan Corona, indicted for 25 murders. 1972. Democrats nominated George McGovern for U.S. President in Miami, Florida. 12 years after the banning of the ANC. And Pan-Africanist Congress, a new political movement. The Black People Convention is formed after a 3-day-long conference in Pietermaritzburg, South Africa. 1973. A fire destroys the entire 6th floor of the National Personnel Records Center of the United States. 1974. John Ehrlichman convicted of violating Daniel Ellsberg's rights. 1975. Bob Taylor catches 7 in an innings, Derbyshire v Yorkshire. Sao Tome Principe gains independence from Portugal National Day. 1977. John Edrick scores his 100th 100 Surrey Derbyshire at the Oval. 1978. U.S. performs nuclear test at Nevada test site. 1979. Ian Paice joins Whitesnake. Kiribati, formerly Gilbert Islands, declares independence from UK. 1982. Britain announces it is returning 593 Argentine POs. FEMA promises survivors of a nuclear war will get their mail. 1983. Chad government troops reconquer Abish. 1984. A car bomb set off by the military wing of the ANC explodes in Durban, South Africa, killing 5 and injuring 27 people. Geraldine Ferraro becomes the first U.S. female major party vice presidential candidate after Walter Mondale selects her as his Democratic Party running mate. 1985. Doctors discover a cancerous growth in President Reagan's colon. STS-51F launch scrubbed at T-3S because of main engine shutdown. 1986. Stephen McDonald, New York City Police Department patrolman, is shot and paralyzed by Siobhan Jones. 1987. First time in 20 years a delegation from USS Arlance in Israel. 50 South Africans meets answers in Dakar. 1988. USSR launches Phobos for Martian orbit. 1990. Boris Yeltsin quits the Soviet Communist Party. In Soweto, South Africa. Shantytown women stripped to the waist and confront bulldozers sent by authorities to demolish their homes. 1993. 7.8 earthquake hits Hokkaido, Japan. 160 killed. 1994. Nomination hearings for Stephen Breyer for Supreme Court Justice begins. 1995. Enrique Iglesias releases his first album, Enrique Iglesias. 1996. Start of first Super 8s tournament in Kuala Lumpur. 1998. South African President Nelson Mandela accompanies Queen Elizabeth II on a coach drive through the streets of London. 2006. Hezbollah initiates Operation True Promise. 2008. Canadian harness racer John Campbell wins his 10,000th race as a driver by guiding share the delight to victory in the 6th race at Meadowlands Racetrack. 2012. 200 people are killed by the Syrian army in Tromsø. 90 to 155 people are killed after an oil tanker crashes and explodes in Okagbe, River State, Nigeria. 2013. 8 people are killed after a commuter train derails in Paris. Malala Yousafzai addresses the United Nations and calls for worldwide access to education. 2016. Bernie Sanders endorses fellow Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton in a speech in New Hampshire. 2017. World's largest iceberg, later christened A68, breaks away from Larsen C ice shelf in Antarctica, about 6,000 square kilometers in length. 2018. Chemical plant explosion in Jiangnan County, Sichuan Province. China kills at least 19. Republic of Ireland will be the first country to sell off its investments in fossil fuel companies after passing legislation in Parliament. U.S. President Donald Trump arrives in the UK for a 4-day visit amid protests. World's longest fingernails cut off. Sridhar Chill's nails measured 909.6 centimeters after growing for 66 years. 2021. At least 92 people die in a fire in a COVID-19 hospital ward in Iraqi city of Nasiriyah.